Because the only people for me are the mad ones. The ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time. The ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, burn, burn like fabulous yellow Roman candles, exploding like spiders across the stars, and in the middle you see the blue center light pop and everybody goes, ah. The great world piers of the sea-wide river were drenched in it. Old steamboat landings at Poughkeepsie were drenched in it. Old split rock pond of sources was drenched in it. Vanderwacker Mount was drenched in it. Now, man, that alto man last night had it. He held it once he found it. I've never seen a guy who could hold so long. I wanted to know what it meant. Ah, well, Dean laughed. Now you're asking me imponderables. Ahem. Here's a guy, and everybody's there, right? Up to him to put down what's on everybody's mind. He starts the first chorus, then lines up his ideas, people, yeah, but get it. And then he rises to his fate. Route 6 arched in from New England. It began to rain in torrents when I was let off there. It was mountainous. Route 6 came over the river, wound around a traffic circle, and disappeared into the wilderness. Not only was there no traffic, but the rain came down in buckets and I had no shelter. I was halfway across America, at the dividing line between the east of my youth and the west of my future. And maybe that's why it happened right there and then, that strange red afternoon.
Ethan, how ready are you to be out of the car?
Dude, it's taking so fucking long.
Besides, said the man, there's no traffic passes through 6. If you want to go to Chicago, you'd do better going across the Holland Tunnel in New York and head for Pittsburgh. And I knew he was right. It was my dream that screwed up. The stupid hearthside idea that it would be wonderful to follow one great red line across America instead of trying various roads and routes. Strange young heroes of all kinds, white, colored, Mexican, pure Indian, were on the field, performing with heartbreaking seriousness. Just sandlot kids in uniform. His buddy was a big, flabby Mexican who spoke English without much accent and was loud and over-anxious to please.
Hi, Ava. What are you up to?
Are you just like loving life right now by a fountain in the middle of Pittsburgh? Sure. Tell me if I run into something. What's up, Adam? How's life?
You cover the road holes before I stumble. Lead me through those fields of traps. The road ahead, it starts to crumble. You build bridges over gaps. But when I fall,
What is that feeling when you're driving away from people and they recede on the plain till you see their specks dispersing? It's the too huge world vaulting us, and it's goodbye. But we lean forward to the next crazy venture beneath the skies. Whenever spring comes to New York, I can't stand the suggestions of the land that come blowing over the river from New Jersey, and I've got to go. So I went. For the first time in our lives, I said goodbye to Dean in New York and left him there. The sun was going down. I walked after a few cold beers to the edge of town, and it was a long walk. All the men were driving home from work, wearing railroad hats, baseball hats, all kinds of hats, just like after work in any town, anywhere. One of them gave me a ride up the hill and left me at a lonely crossroads on the edge of the prairie. I got on that hot road, and off I went in a brand new car driven by a Denver businessman of about 35. He went 70. I tingled all over. I counted minutes and subtracted miles. Just ahead, over the rolling wheat fields, all golden beneath the distant snows of Estes, I'd be seeing old Denver at last. I pictured myself in a Denver bar that night with all the gang, and in their eyes, I would be strange and ragged and like the prophet who has walked across the land to bring the dark word, and the only word I had was, wow. They were like the man with the dungeon stone and the gloom rising from the underground, the sordid hipsters of America, a new beat generation that I was slowly joining. The boys from the chorus showed up. They began singing Sweet Adeline. They also sang phrases such as, "Pass me the beer," and "What are you doing with your face hanging out?" In 1942, I was the star in one of the filthiest dramas of all time. I was a seaman and went to the Imperial Cafe on Scully Square in Boston to drink. I drank 60 glasses of beer and retired to the toilet, where I wrapped myself around the toilet bowl and went to sleep. During the night, at least 100 seamen and assorted civilians came in and cast their sentient debouchements on me till I was unrecognizably caked. What difference does it make after all? Anonymity in the world of men is better than fame in heaven, for what's heaven? What's earth? All in the mind.
Happy to be home, Yusuf?
So in America, when the sun goes down, and I sit on the old broken-down river pier watching the long, long skies over New Jersey, and sense all that raw land that rolls in one unbelievable huge bulge over to the west coast, and all that road going, all the people dreaming in the immensity of it. And in Iowa, I know by now the children must be crying in the land where they let children cry. And tonight the stars will be out. And don't you know that God is Pooh Bear? The evening star must be drooping and shedding her sparkler dims on the prairie, which is just before the coming of complete night that blesses the earth, darkens all rivers, cups the peaks, and folds the final shore in. And nobody knows what's going to happen to anybody besides the forlorn rags of growing old.